Everyone. So we won't be needing the chahi today.
I find your lack of chahi disturbing.
I've got the Kona Coffee out because it is already ground up and it probably doesn't have much life left. Though it is a dark roast and it smells wonderful. It is pre-ground, so I'm gonna see if I can get 35, that's 35. There's probably another 40 grams in this bag. This is from Island Roasters. This was their Kona coffee that they were offering while on the counter that I saw when I was down in New Smyrna. And was very excited about because I'd heard everybody talk about Kona coffee. I believe this 8-ounce bag, pretty sure it was pretty expensive. I mean, there are bags of coffee out there for $100, $200, $300 for 12 ounces. So what is expensive? Expensive is whatever the top of your budget is, and then probably add 2. I mean, some people will have a budget of, $80, and then the coffee will be $50, and then they'll be like, well, that's expensive. So expensive is wherever you set your bar. I mean, it's just your personal preference. I mean, it can't be any more or less than that. So arguing about it. I already get coffee on the bottom of this somehow? That's weird. I didn't think anything spilled. Weird. I just washed this little cup too. I'll wash it again. So I got my 35 grams of coffee. We're going to add 400 grams of water. We're going to do the thing, and it's going to be amazing. So, not much going on today. It's a beautiful sunny day out there, limited clouds in the sky. I have things I have to do after I edit this and start the encoding process. I gotta go get some medication. It's kind of been sitting there for the past 3 days. I tried to go yesterday, and the drugstore has lunch hours between 1:30 and 2, and I completely forgot that they had that half hour. And I went in and saw that it was like 1:37, and I'm like, oh geez, and their shutters were closed. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that's fine. It's not very far away, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But it's weird. I know people complain about it online, but you should see these drug techs and doctors and nurses back there busting their butts. Like every time I've come back there, everybody has been up, everybody has been portioning pills, everybody has been looking at scripts, everybody has been at the window, everybody's been at the front desk. I mean, they are nonstop there. So I personally don't think a half hour is enough time for the people at the drugstore that I go to. It should be an hour. They are constantly doing things. And even with the thing closed, they're being on their lunch break, people were still back there filling scripts. And I'm sure that they have to deal with some pretty nasty people, nasty attitude people. So, I don't think a half hour is long enough. But there are people that complain. Well, why are they closed? It's why are they closed during the time that I go there? Generally, that's a general thing, isn't it? Though people like, why are things closed while I need them? Yeah, that's generally the thing. But I had forgotten what their times were, and I thought it was like 2 to 2:30, but I was wrong. It's 1:30 to 2. So, which they must have found to be the most easiest time to take a break. And there were people still they were hovering in the drugstore, just hovering around. I think it's a CVS, but they would just hover inside for a half hour, hovering for a half hour in a drugstore. I mean, I can't hover for a half hour in a department store. I don't know how you could do it in a drugstore. Look at every single type of press-on nail that they have for a half hour and then not buy any of them, I guess. I don't know. It's really, really, really strange to hover in general, but then to hover around for a half hour. I guess you don't want to get back in your car and go someplace else. What's nice though is if you walk, and it is walking, if you walk a little bit, the library is on the same relative block there, you know. Also down a little ways is an ice cream shop. It's weird. It's all weird in the way it is now. But yeah, they should have more than a half hour for lunch. I mean, the people they deal with on a daily basis, plus the fact they're always going. So they'd never stop. It's fascinating to watch them just to run around. And the amount of scripts they have in bags for the size of the pharmacy it technically is. There's so many bags. Sometimes they overflow. Sometimes they have to stack them above the counter. There are so many scripts for that town. The town is not outrageously big, but the majority of the town is on some form of medication. That probably should tell you something about the area. You know, if the majority of the population is on some form of medication like that. So it's very, very interesting. So, but yeah, I have to do that, and then I think I have to get some. I need to get some cat litter. I need to change the cat litter out. So I'm sure you needed to know that as well. But you're here, so you're gonna. It's my therapy and my coffee, so you're gonna get both barrels. Thank you. Thank you very much. I washed down the counter and I've still got wet spots. I washed this off too, and it's still wet. So a lot of wet. Last night we had chili, so I had a chili pot and some bowls and the space to kind of clean up before I did coffee. The side over there, we don't look over there. We don't look over there. I try not to glance over there. I don't want to see it. There's just stuff over there. And a lot, I keep looking over there and I shouldn't be. A lot of it is mine. So, you know, I just need to buckle up and do more cleaning over there. So it's not like I don't have time. It's just that I portioned my days out in a dumb way. You know, I do this, I go down, I edit, I give myself an hour, hour and a half to do things. And then I go down and I sit in that chair and I stream for 2 to 4 hours. And I shouldn't, honestly. I really shouldn't. The max amount of people that watched yesterday during the stream was 4. The day before, the amount of people that watched the stream, I mean, they didn't stick around. They kind of came in, saw, and left. It was like 37 people. So it's weird. I don't know. I don't know if I'm having an impact. I don't know if people are watching. I just don't know. I'm having a good time, which is half the battle. The other half is, you know, other people watching. And then the endorphin rush of seeing the numbers go up. You know, it's part of my therapy. It makes me feel good. All right, around 90 degrees Celsius, around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Yeah, around that. So let us get ourselves a little $60. We'll put 60 in, I guess. Start our timer. Do this for about 30 seconds. It is a strong smelling coffee, roasted with aloha. I mean, it's supposed to be very smooth, you know, and your definition of smooth, I'm sure, is different from everyone else's, as it should be. You know, nobody wants to be like everyone else all the time. It's boring. So we wetted the coffee. We are letting the gases escape a little bit here. And now, 30 seconds have passed. We're going to add 400 grams of water. I like how there's almost a red tinge to the foam that we've got going on here. Doing this circular motion and pouring gently like this in a good kettle keeps the bed, churning the bed, I guess is the word, the phrase. It churns the bed, and we're button on today, I think. It churns up the bed, makes sure the coffee's all, it gets all of the coffee, gets everything, every bit of the coffee, every little instance of it. I'm gonna swirl it around just a little bit here. Got a lot of foam on the side there, that's interesting. Okay, just let it go. Let it go. So, and that was about 50 seconds worth of pour in, I think. So it's almost like pudding. I think it's the consistency of the grind plus the roast. So it's a dark roast. So was this the $30 coffee? Was this the 8-ounce bag of $30 coffee? I think it was. And it was just like, and Matt was the one that pointed out, he says, oh, look, you've talked about Kona Coffee. What do you think of that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be great to try. And it's like, oh God, it's $30. Oh, well, you're on vacation. Makes an interesting bed. So if we include the initial bloom, or if we ignore the initial bloom for 30 seconds, that's 2 minutes. Well, that's a really odd. I mean, I even swirled it, and the bed didn't settle that well. Yeah, it's just like funneling all the way down. Is that the grind? I guess that could be the grind. I don't know. That's very interesting how that works. So that's about a 2.5 minute drawdown as that stands. I'll let it go for another 30 seconds. That's very interesting. And I did try this in the maca pot, and it turned out to be a very strong, dark cup of coffee, which I think is more in line with what everybody else thinks a maca pot should deliver, which is a dark coffee. And every video I've ever seen where someone has made a maca pot on Instagram, it's always the pre-ground, very, very dark roasted Italian roast. So we've gone a little bit here. The timer's kind of gone wonky, but that's because the apparatus I have strapped to my head decided to tell me that at 54% the battery had run out. So I just wonder if these batteries are going bad. I think that's very possible. Okay. So, I mean, it was about a 3 minute and some seconds drawdown, which is good. So, Island Roasters Kona Coffee. It's a very strong, and by strong I mean smell. I don't mean like caffeine. I mean like strong, bitter, almost nose to it. I don't know why. I think I just washed that. I didn't really bring it out for anything. This definitely seems like a coffee you want to take some kind of milk in, or non-dairy additive like milk. Yeah, it's got a very strong smell to it. You know, and smooth-wise, you know, I'm sure that there are a lot of expensive coffees out there that have a specific flavor profile that people strive to achieve. That, you know, I mean, and that's with any hobby. The goal that you want to achieve has to be achievable and has to be something that you want to achieve. So, you know, it's like building a model. You build models. You know, you build a model Plymouth Superbird. You know, you want that model you want to be able to finish that model, and you want it to look like the thing that's on the side of the box, at the very least, or mod it to your specifications so it looks like what you want it to look like. Coffee is the same thing. You get something, they say, these are the things you should be tasting for. And the ultimate goal, if you have this as a hobby, is to find those flavors and then get it to a point where you think it tastes good. 8 ounces of coffee, it is really hard, I think, to dial in anything with 8 ounces of coffee. You know, this is a sample, and, you know, you might get a couple of bags out of it, but if you're really into finding your flavor, 8 ounces might not be enough to do it in. You know, that being said, there's nothing wrong with this. It doesn't taste bad. It tastes nice. It is a nice, smooth gulp, I guess you could say. It tastes really good. It is very coffee. It is very dark roasted coffee, which means it's a little bit more bitter. It doesn't taste acidic. There's really no fruit flavor. You might get some kind of like roasted nut in it, maybe. Almost like a macadamia, kind of. But yeah, there's like no fruit in there at all, and it's just coffee. So, and then because it's dark roasted, you do have a little bit of a bitter chocolate taste. It's like on the sides though. It's like on the sides of your tongue. It's a really nice cup of coffee. But I don't know if it's worth $30 for an 8-ounce bag. Your mileage will always vary, and this might be the thing that you're chasing. To me personally, this is always me personally. I never try to gatekeep. I may ask why, but I would never caveat that why with you shouldn't. Why are you? You shouldn't. You know, it's your hobby. You should chase it however you wish. It's just me personally. I don't know if $30, a bag for a bag of coffee that's 8 ounces is really worth it. It's fine. It was a wonderful experience, and I was glad I was able to experience it finally. But for my mileage, I don't think I'd do that again. Maybe if I were in Hawaii, I would try it again. And then maybe I would have someone prepare it in the store, if that's that kind of store, rather than just a distributor, Distributor? It's distributor. It's distributor. Rather than a brewer, you wouldn't really be able to do that. It's fine. I'm very glad that I had the experience to try it. I don't know if I would recommend it to someone else if they asked me. I would ask them what kind of coffee they like, and if they said a dark roast, I would say that might be worth your time and money. Just know that you may run out of coffee before you get to the method by which you find that you enjoy it. So, thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. It is Thursday, which means we have a nice weekend coming up very soon. I hope your Friday goes smoothly. I hope you have a very nice weekend, and we will talk to you on Tuesday. See you later. Bye.